All right, guys, thank you so much for having me here. Like I've mentioned, I moved here from India in 2006 and went into the corporate America route, took the corporate America route, worked at Nordstrom Corporate for about 8 years. And I loved my job. And it was like, super cool to be surrounded by sequin dresses and buying for 118 stores across the country. It was a big job, but I just I just wasn't happy about working for someone else. Back in India, I was an entrepreneur, and I was like, I got to find my people here. Obviously, moving countries is not easy, and moving countries, when you're 24 years old, is even harder. And at that point, I was like, okay, how do I even grow that? How do I get out, and how do I do that? Real estate just happened to be one of those things that I've always been interested in. And so I was like, okay, what does that look like? And I didn't want to be, a real estate broker. Nothing against it. I'm a broker now, but back then I just wanted to learn about construction and houses and how to invest. And of course, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad when I was 15, and that always stuck with me. And so I was like, how do I get to that level? And I joined a program called Fortune Builders. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of it. And I was more than anything, I was just blown away by the things that they were saying, which I was like, why would anybody else pay you to fix up a home that you're going to make a profit on? Like other people's money, that doesn't exist. I'm never going to be able to raise money. I'm never going to find a deal. Like there were so many limiting beliefs. But ultimately, I was like, okay, I just got to do it and then see for myself. The worst thing that can happen is I'll fail miserably and then go back to corporate life. And so I quit my job one day and I, dove into this with both feet, and started looking for my first deal. And basically, it didn't come easy, but it came, and I have since flipped over 50 homes. Done a bunch of land development, additions, started building my rental portfolio a few years ago. And now I am like passionately digging into commercial real estate investing, apartments, assisted living, self-storage, all of these asset classes.
So, Leka, I would have a question there because one of the things that I just heard you say was like the limiting beliefs part.
Mm-hmm.
Can you dig into that a little bit more? We definitely want to see, like, because I feel like maybe a lot of people are in the position where, who am I to fill in the blank? Why do I deserve fill in the blank? They have all these limiting beliefs that are probably holding them back from doing their next deal or their first deal. Would you mind kind of digging into that a little bit and how you were able to overcome that as well? Especially especially in a male dominated industry, coming in as a female and then adding on to that a minority. Please dig into that.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes.
Oh, really?
So
We got to
I
hear a
came,
story.
when I first started, there was literally no women in the space. There were lots of men. There were groups of men. And here I was like trying to break into this circle. I mean, name it. And I had doubted myself, I was like, why would someone sell me a deal off market and not my peer who has more experience, more money, is a guy, has contractors? Why would a contractor work with me? I have no construction experience or background. Why would someone lend me hard money? I don't have a track record. Why would someone buy my house? Because what if I flipped it wrong, right? I mean, it was just like the questions wouldn't stop. But at some point, you just have to squash them and be like, okay, the only way to truly understand and truly, see if you can succeed is by doing. And I'm not one to just sit on the sidelines and wait for that opportunity, that perfect opportunity to fall in my lap, which is why I didn't make any money on my first deal. And that was okay. because all I wanted to do was like learn from that experience, and learning from an experience is priceless. So that's what happened. And the way I got my first deal was, I reached out to someone that worked with me at Nordstrom who had left to join a title company, who was the only person I knew in real estate. And then he introduced me to his escrow officer, who introduced me to an investor, who introduced me to his broker, who introduced me to his company that was selling off-market properties to investors. So I bought this deal. It was sight unseen. They promised me a contractor. After I closed on the deal, they said the contractor was busy. I mean, everything that could go wrong basically went wrong. But that taught me so much. That taught me grit. It taught me to hustle. And I was able to find a contractor after interviewing 14 contractors. And that teaches you a thing or two about contractors and writing a scope of work or negotiating. So yeah, the limiting beliefs were massive.
You mentioned something I think that was key there. You said you didn't make a lot of money on your first one. Can you talk a little bit about why you continued? You didn't make money. You did not have proof of concept. Why'd you continue?
Because returning to corporate America was nauseating. I was like, no, I don't. That's not what I want to do. Also, because I had gained so much experience and wisdom, and I knew that if I didn't use that to then, like, first of all, I could have lost a lot of money, and I only lost $5,000. And I didn't lose a lot of money because I was able to take that loss and do something out of it. Like, I was able to find cheaper labor. I was able to find cheaper material, sell at a different time in the year to sell at a higher price. I mean, did a bunch of stuff. And if I continue to keep it, I would have just lost more money. So I sold it and I made a $5,000 loss. Then looking back, I was able to say, okay, these are all the different aspects that I failed in, and going into the next one, I was just more armed with better contractor. I was able to go in and say, okay, this is how much it's going to cost me to fix up this house. Is there any profit left at the end of it? And the answer was yes. And, that already taught me that I could then make a profit on the next project and the next project. And sure enough, like the next project, it was a smaller house, much smaller flip. I think the first house I spent $120,000 flipping and rehabbing. And then the second house, I only spent about $45,000 and I made a $35,000 profit. And then I was like, wow, this system can work, and when the system works, you just have to take advantage. And so that year I flipped 8 homes, and then there's no looking back.